continue to see bills that they have proposed be struck down by the courts because they don't protect Canadians or communities. The Honourable Member for Dorval-Lachine-LaSalle. Mr. Speaker, a free and independent press is one of the pillars of our democracy. It is absolutely fundamental, and I believe it is our duty to protect it. That protection starts with ensuring that they are paid properly for the work that they do. Can the Prime Minister please update us on what this government is doing to ensure the vitality of our local media? Thank you. The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to thank the member for Dorval-Lachine-LaSalle for her important question and for her very hard work. I agree with her, and that's why I call on Conservative members to stop lining up behind the web giants and instead to support our bill. I understand that the Conservative leader prefers not having to answer questions, given his support for Bitcoin and his misogynistic web tags, but we support a free and independent press which holds politicians to account.
Honourable Member for Fort McMurray, Cold Lake.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A parent's worst nightmare is a sick child, and a shortage of infant and children's Tylenol, Motrin, and Advil from earlier this summer is turning into a full-blown crisis. Parents are now having to choose between taking their sick kid to an overcrowded emergency room or crossing the border to the U.S., where there are no shortages on these drugs, just to get basic medicine to bring down their kids' fever and relieve pain. When does the Prime Minister intend to do something about this crisis?
Yeah! Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, we hear the concerns from parents on the supply of children's pain, fever, and meds. And as a parent, I can completely understand. That's why we're committed to ensuring that all families have access to the essential medicines their children need. Health Canada has been in communication with manufacturers, pharmacists, and provinces and territories to ensure mitigation measures are in place. Our main priority will always be the health and safety of Canadians, and all options are on the table.
The Honourable Member for Mégantic-l'Érable. Mr. Speaker, for a month now, we've been warning the Prime Minister about this situation, but the Prime Minister always, has an excuse ready to justify his inability to act, even for young children who are sick. And as a grandparent, Mr. Speaker, it makes me sick to my stomach, this situation. A month ago, Health Canada was asked to do something so that mothers and fathers could have access to medication for their children. And medication that children want to take, Mr. Speaker. Why, once again, is he hiding behind excuses to avoid giving children who are sick the medication they need? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, we are hearing the concerns of parents when it comes to the shortage of pain medication for children. We will continue to make sure that all families have access to essential medication for their children when they need it. We are going to fight this shortage. Health Canada is in communication with pharmacists, the makers of these medications, and the provinces and territories to ensure that measures are in place. And our priority remains the health and the well-being of Canadians, and we are looking at all options that are all on the table.
Mr. Speaker, the reality is the Liberals' out-of-control spending makes life more expensive for all Canadians. Half can't put aside savings. Home heating costs will double this winter. More Canadians already had to use food banks in one single month than ever before in Canadian history. For years, our new Conservative leader has warned that the NDP Liberals' costly coalition's inflationary deficits would force Canadians to have to pay the bill. So tomorrow, will the Prime Minister finally give Canadians a break and stop his tax hikes and reckless spending?
Honourable Prime Minister. Except, Mr. Speaker, that the Conservative Party has decided that it needs to oppose supports for parents to send their kids to the dentist. Except, Mr. Speaker, that the Conservative Party has decided to oppose giving a $500 top-up to low-income renters across this country to help with the rising costs of everything. Mr. Speaker, we're facing global inflation, yes, but there are things we can do to make it easier for families, things like childcare, which we're moving forward on despite Conservative opposition, things like the CCB, things like the GST credit, and dental and rental, which they continue to oppose.